Hey everyone, thank you so much for being here today. My name is Denise. I'm also known as Hey Wig Sister on Instagram and Facebook. Today I'm here to bring you a wig review and comparison. I'm actually here to bring you a human hair resource. If you're in the market for a human hair wig, I want to introduce you to a retailer that you may not know and tell you a little bit about two of her cap styles. The wig on my head is from a boutique called Debra's Enchanted, and I actually have three of her wigs, one of which I've owned for 2.5 years, 3 years maybe, and they're all in the same color. They present a little differently. I have two of her cap styles here. So if you'd like to know more about Debra's Enchanted, these pieces, and I will talk a little bit about some of the challenges with human hair buying that are demonstrated in these three pieces so that you can be a more educated consumer and so that your wig wearing journey can be just a little bit easier because you'll go into it with your eyes wide open. So if you want to know all of these things, then stick around and I'll share it with you. Okay, so first of all, I have to thank Debra for partnering with me on this. I had a long conversation with her about her business, about her wigs. I really wanted to learn all I could so that I would be informed enough to bring you guys information that could be helpful for you. And she graciously agreed to send me two of her caps so that I could check them out and share them with you guys. I already had one of them and it's really pretty much the same as this one. They're both in the Allure cap. And so I'll be telling you about the different caps. I have the Elegance cap on my head. I'll be telling you about these colors. The color is 6/12/14. 6/12/14, and they're all in that color, but goodness gracious, do these two look very different. So we'll talk about how that happens with human hair wigs and why you should be aware of it and prepared, if you're very particular about color, to ask good questions so that you're not surprised by some of the variances that you might see in color. So let's get going on this. I'm going to show you this one from all around first. This hair, you guys, is so incredible. I mean, I feel like I'm 30 years old. I just feel so beautiful in this, and the hair quality is so fantastic. Now, I mentioned in the beginning that I have a piece that I've had for 2.5 or 3 years, and I purchased it used from a wig sister. Now, to be fair, I haven't worn it a lot, especially in the beginning. I really just wasn't super comfortable with human hair. And so it did sit in a box for quite some time, but the hair is still in beautiful quality. And I've actually been wearing it a lot more lately, now that I'm a lot more comfortable with human hair, and it's in great shape. So one of the things I see a lot, a complaint that I see a lot about these higher quality human hair wigs, is the cost, the expense of them. And I agree, they're very expensive. I agree that the prices have gone up exponentially in the past 5 years. But if you get a good quality human hair wig, it should last you a long time. I like to say it will last you 5 to 6 times longer than a synthetic wig. So if you do the math, think about purchasing a synthetic wig, and I'm not talking about Amazon wigs or, $50, $60 wigs, but, let's think about the major name brands, and you're paying maybe a couple of $100s for those. Think about having to replace that 5 or 6 times equal to every one human hair wig. Now you're getting a lot closer in price, and there's so many benefits to human hair, especially if you're struggling on the wig wearing journey. I think synthetic wigs can be hard for people to get used to when they're super sensitive and they don't want anybody to know they're wearing a wig. I think there's lots of things you can do to make them look super natural, but there are barriers that are hard to overcome. When you get a really good quality human hair wig, those barriers aren't as prevalent, and it can be an easier transition to make. So just food for thought on that. I understand price is definitely a factor. Now, Debra's carries European quality human hair. So all of her wigs are European quality human hair. So you're not going to see huge variation in the type of hair that she carries. Some retailers will carry some Mongolian, some European, some Brazilian, and they all have different characteristics. And so at this time, at least at this time, at the time of the filming of this video, so many things can change over time, but they're all European quality. One of the things I love is that they all dry slightly wavy. That makes me super happy. I am a curly girl at heart, and my dream is to have a kind of a naturally wavy piece that needs no styling at all. Now, these do not need styling, but I did put some soft curls in with a 1.25-inch barreled beach waver curling iron, just because I think, I wanted to highlight how they style, but I also wanted to see how they curl. They curl very easily, and they seem to hold a curl fairly well as well. Now let's talk about the different caps. So she has 4 different cap styles, and she does have really good explanation of her cap styles at her website. The 2 that I have here today to show you are the Elegance, which is one of her lightest caps that she carries, and it's nearly fully hand tied, and I will show you the inside of this cap. And then the Allure. So this one is the Allure, and I will put these other 2 on for you guys. Now, I am sending this one back to her, so I did not cut the lace on this one, so that's why you'll see it with the lace. I did cut the lace on this one, and I will show you that. So I've got lots of videos now showing you how to cut lace on wigs, but just so that you know. So this one is let's start with the one that's not on my head. So this one is the Allure cap style. And so what we have here is a lace front. And what I also appreciate, the lace is extended, but it doesn't go all the way down to the ears like a 13-inch lace front does. And I personally, that's my preference. I just find when lace goes all the way down to the ears, if you want to do any styling with it, you tend to have to adhere that lace, and that's not my preference. And so with these, I can tuck, I can style, I can put it in a ponytail, I can put it in an updo, and I won't have lace lifting. So I really, really love the length of this lace front. This whole top here is a silk top, and you can part it anywhere you want. So that's a silk top. It looks just like scalp, and you see no knotting. So silk tops are the most realistic that you can find versus a lace top. There's pros and cons to both. I'm not going to cover the pros and cons in this video. I will do a video because I have wigs in both styles covering the pros and cons, but just know that they're all silk tops and they're very realistic. I think she is going to start carrying some lace tops for those who prefer it. So that's all parting space up there, and then it has silicone all around it. If you have bio hair, that silicone doesn't do a whole lot, but if you don't have any bio hair, that's going to help this stay very secure on your head, and you shouldn't need any adhesive, a wig grip, or anything. All of this top section is hand tied, all of that, and then you've got some wefts, closed wefts down on the bottom. So that's the inside of the Allure cap. This is, of all the caps she carries, this is the sort of the heaviest cap. I find it very, very comfortable. It's the exact same cap that I have on my piece that I've had for a while. I find them very comfortable. They do fit pretty snug. I do find this to fit me very, very snugly. This one seems just a little bit bigger. It has been a couple of years, so it's possible that, some things have changed, but I would just say they run very true to average, maybe slightly smaller than average for some people, depending on your measurements over the top of your head. If you want something that's big head friendly, I would reach out to her about a large cap. She can help you. She will do a consult with you. She can help you to determine what is going to work best for your head measurements. All right, I'm going to do a switch up here, and then I'll show you the inside of it. Elegance. Now, like I said, the color is presenting quite differently. So we will cover that in a little bit. And again, don't forget, I'm not cutting the lace on this one because I'm not keeping it. And so obviously I'm not gonna do that. So let's talk about the Elegance cap. So this is, she has one other cap that's similar to this one, but this is one of her lightest caps that she has. Again, all of this is a silk top. And so it's got parting space anywhere on the top. Here's the lace front. I did cut the lace, and we've got silicone. So a little bit of a different presentation of the silicone, but this does still have silicone. It has silicone ear tabs with bendable stays. We've got that extended nape. This has pull adjusters. All of this is some closed wefting, very light, and the rest of this is hand tied for realism. So if you're going to do some styling, if you're going to pull your wig up in a half up, half down, or do some styling on the top of your head, you don't have to worry about hiding wefting. That is a really huge benefit, and I really appreciate her caps. I think they're incredibly comfortable. Let's take a look at this one from all sides. Now, a few things to know about Debra's, and this is important because every retailer is going to do things a little bit differently. So if you're going to shop around and maybe purchase from multiple retailers, it is really important to know their business practices and how they handle certain things like plucking the hairline, bleaching the knots, all of those things. Those are going to be important to understand. So I'm going to tell you about Debra's. And again, please look at the date of this video. If you're watching this and it's been 2 years or even a year, things could be different. So you always want to verify whenever you watch a review, verify that the things that we tell you now are still true in the future, because things do change. I think we all understand that. Okay, so on to those things. First of all, Debra's shared with me that her wigs all come with lightly bleached knots, but she does not additionally bleach them. If you would like your knots bleached additionally, she will do that. That's an add-on service. She highly recommends that you wait and see how the wig looks first. And there are some techniques that she recommends to help. If you find knotting to be obvious on a wig, sometimes something that you can do is you can take a spoolie and you can just sort of gently go in at the hairline and sort of loosen up those knots. Sometimes, not loosen them up to the point where the hair is going to fall out, but sometimes it's just the knots kind of got all wonky in shipment, and that can help a lot. But if you want your knots bleached more, she will do that. Please keep in mind, bleaching knots weakens them. Wigs with unbleached knots will last longer, on average. There's always exceptions, than wigs with bleached knots. For some people though, it's worth the risk. So just keep that in mind. And if you get a piece and you think the knots are a little bit too visible, then it is an option to get them bleached. In addition, she doesn't pluck her hairlines. So if you like the look of a heavily plucked hairline, that is something that you might want to talk with her about, or you can do that yourself. I've done that plenty, and it's really not difficult. And I actually prefer to pluck my own hairlines because then I can work my way toward whatever it is I'm going for. And I think sometimes you risk, when people pluck hairlines, you risk over plucking, and you don't have any control over that if someone else does it for you. So just keep that in mind. And if you get a wig and you find that whole front section to be really heavy, sometimes a little bit of plucking will help that. You'll learn all of this though throughout your journey, and I hope to do a lot more videos teaching you these things. But in the case of this one, the knots are just a little bit visible there, as you can see. Not terrible. So personal preference, if you wanted them less visible, then you could get them bleached as an add-on service. All right, let's talk about color, because I'm sure you're wondering. Now, like I said, these are both the same color, 6, 12, 14, but they went really heavy in the front on these blonde highlights versus on this piece, they really didn't bring those blonde highlights as heavily up to the front. There's a lot more brunette on this one. Now, I don't know how she would have described these if they were posted at her website, if she would have, you know, called out money pieces or what she would have done. So here's what I want you to do. If you are very, very particular about your color, you are not flexible on color, then when you're buying a human hair wig, I think it's vitally important that you really study the pictures that the retailer provides. One of the good things about human hair sellers that sell like in little boutiques like Debra's is they take pictures of the actual wig you're going to buy. So you should be able to see how much blonde or how much highlighting is on a particular piece. But if you really struggle with color, I strongly encourage you to reach out to the retailer before you purchase and ask those questions, because color is, on human hair wigs, color is really difficult. It is going to vary greatly. One of the challenges of coloring a human hair wig is the hair type. You know, the hair came off of a person. These aren't manufactured in a lab. And because of that, how it takes color will vary. The health of the hair, the health of the person who sold the hair or donated the hair. All of us, if you and I both went to the hair salon to get our hair colored, that stylist would have to work really hard to make sure that she, you know, accounted for all of the different factors in our hair type. How porous is it? All of those things. So I just want you to be really aware that you may see, let's say you purchased a wig from Debra's before in this color. The next one you get may not be identical. And I think, you know, a good example are these two. They're closer, but there are still major differences. This one seems to have a little bit more auburn in it. So I think the bottom line is just be aware that there will be color variation and ask really good questions. I would say for this color scheme, it's a kind of almost this is way more of a blonde, sort of a brown blonde than this one. But in both cases, they're fairly heavily highlighted and there's a lot of different colors in it running through it. So if you don't like that, then you'll want to make sure to choose a color that is not as heavily highlighted or doesn't have as many tonal differences. That's the other thing that will impact how color pulls, is how many different colors are in the color. The more highlighting that there is, the more colors that are used, the more variation you'll find. So if you're not into the variation, then you might want to stick with a more base color, like a brown with very little variation, because then you'll at least get a little bit more consistency. I hope that helps. I really just wanted to point that out. Even though they both have the same color codes, how they were applied is just a little bit different, but you should be able to see that in pictures on the website. All right, and now here is the one that I've owned for a number of years. It's clearly a lot shorter, and I just love the length of this one. I love this one. It actually is in kind of a need of being washed. I haven't done much with styling in months on this one, and so probably need to give it a good wash, but let's take a look at this one. So let's just sort of sum up everything here. First of all, if you want to see what she has to offer, go ahead and go to her website. I will link it in the description. She has all different links. So the first one I had on in the Elegance cap, the one that was a lot more blonde, this one was a 20-inch. And the measurement is from the crown, kind of the center of the crown down, and it's lightly layered. The second one was 18 inches, and again, lightly layered. I have no idea what the length of this one is. I think this was probably custom cut by whoever I bought it from years ago, but you can certainly go check out the different lengths that she has. She also does carry some wavy pieces. Now, I said in the beginning, one of the things I love about these is they dry wavy. She actually has specifically wavy pieces. These dry very slightly wavy. I think you can get a little extra wave out of them by really working them, scrunch them, maybe dry with a diffuser, using product. But she actually has truly wavy pieces, almost curly. It's actually a dream of mine to own one of those someday. I'm just a curly girl at heart, and I'm really looking for that perfect, naturally wavy, curly human hair piece. That would make me really happy. But you can go check those out at her website. Let me know if you guys have any questions. So at the bottom line, this is a great resource for us wig sisters looking for human hair wigs. She's been around for a number of years. I see really good feedback about her in comments in the Facebook groups. She is dedicated to the wig wearing community. She really tries hard to make everyone feel special and appreciated. Her pieces are known for being somewhat lightweight. I will just say the two pieces that I have, I really don't find them really all that lightweight. I don't think they're heavy density, but they're not like super, super light density, in my opinion, with the two pieces that I have. The problem with density on a wig, it's very subjective. It just is. This one is fairly lightweight. I just think it's really subjective. What's lightweight to one person isn't lightweight to another. And so I just think it's worth kind of getting some experience and trying some different things. You can talk with her directly about anything that you want to know. Beautiful pieces. Debra's Enchanted. I'll put any more information that I might have in the description. Otherwise, hopefully this is a good resource for you. Let me know though if you have questions or if maybe there's something that I didn't cover, and plan for more tutorial videos in the future on human hair wigs. I'm really gonna ramp up that on my channel this year. Thanks for watching, you guys. I appreciate you. Okay, so in my video on YouTube, I actually show you how to do this on a mannequin head. That can be a really nice way to do it. I'm just gonna do it here on the counter because I find I'm a little more experienced and I'm pretty quick at it when I do it this way instead of setting up the mannequin head. But like I said, I've got all the hair pushed back, and so now I'm just gonna follow the hairline. And if your scissors are sharp, you will make very quick work of this. Now, how much space you leave between the lace front and the hairline, I'm not as quick when I'm trying to talk, is personal preference. I like to cut very, very close to the hairline. That's my personal preference. I don't usually leave a lot of lace, but some people leave more lace, maybe an 1/8 of an inch, so that they've got room to trim it later if it starts to fray. Another tip, which I should have done and I didn't, you could spray this with water. That will really keep that hair out of the way. But you just follow the hairline and that's it. The lace is cut. I may need to do some cleanup on some sections that maybe I left a little longer than I prefer, partly because I'm looking through my phone to do this. But it's as simple as that. If I were you, when you first start, leave it long. You can always go back and touch it up, but as you're learning, don't make the mistake of cutting too much because you can't put it back.
Okay, friends, I wanted to add on a bonus curling section for those of you who really care to see this. I do get asked every single time to show how I curl. So this is what I do. I'm very much a one-trick pony when it comes to curling. I do not have a lot of experience or skill. My favorite curling iron is my Beach Waver. This is a Beach Waver curling iron. It's the 1.25-inch barrel. I also have a 1-inch barrel. This is the bigger one. It's just so foolproof for me. It rotates on its own. All I have to do is put the hair in the clamp. I do have other videos on the Beach Waver. If you want to check those out, you sure can. But I will link the curling iron, the stand, the canvas head, all of it. It's just honestly the easiest way to curl a hair in my opinion. Thanks for watching.